has a difficult time with addressing the needs of the women that are in the sex industry and extending a hand to them, because if 70% of men in the church are dealing with addictions to porn, and even pastors and leaders are dealing with addiction to porn, they have to first be willing to expose what's going on in their own hearts and lives, to do that without living in hypocrisy. And so it's just kind of like the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about, that they want to keep in the closet. And in the meantime, the women are suffering, and the church at large isn't really doing what they need to do to be the church to the women. And so that's the sad part. But I know that what I know from my personal experience and from what I see God doing in the lives of women all the time is that God loves them. He sees them as women of value, and he sees them with the purpose that he created them for, and he sees what he wants to do in their lives and the redemption that he wants to bring. But at the same time, he sees that in his church. He looks at the people in the church that are living also in shame and just as chained and trapped as the women in the industry are, men and women struggling with addiction to porn, and he sees that in them too, that he wants to set them free and that he wants to do a work in them. And it's kind of a catch-22, because the church has to get free, and then as we're free and we're truly living in God's grace and truth and love, then we can extend that to other people. But we can't give what we haven't received. And so if we're just suffering in silence and not opening up those wounds and those areas that we're holding secret, then we can't go about setting other people free, because we're in chains.
This is why Leviticus 15 has so much value. This is why 1 Corinthians 11, verse 5, and verse 10, and verse 28 have so much value, because they're touching into the spirit realm around hidden things. Examine yourselves. What's the atmosphere? Examine yourselves when you gather behind closed doors to celebrate your weaknesses together, so that you can carry one another. Examine yourself so that you can share your weaknesses and shortcomings with one another in a way that's marvelous and empowering and freeing and refreshing and cleansing and unifying. Thank you, Darren, for Furious Love.